I already have a blog on carb cycling, zigzag diet, calorie cycling. They all mean the same thing, but I'm trying to make this video quickly just to get over the technical details of how exactly the carb cycling works and how it can work for you. I would highly recommend reading the blog first and then watching this video, so you have a better understanding of how you need to plan your days and how you need to understand that this is an advanced technique and not for someone who's starting out new. Only if you're comfortable with your current nutrition plan, you know what your goals are and you know what your maintenance diet is, I would not recommend getting into this. But for those of you who are ready, let's get started. Let's divide the week into 7 days and see what all days you are working out, what all days you're not working out, and try to chalk out a plan based on maintenance, calorie deficit and a calorie surplus. So let's get started. Okay, now we have deficit, maintenance, surplus. Let's say your maintenance calorie level is 2500 calories per day. Okay, therefore based on the 2500 number, your deficit let's say is around 2000, a 500 calorie deficit, and let's say your surplus is 2800, assuming a 300 calorie surplus. Now let's say you're working out 5 days a week. Saturday, Sunday is the day when you're taking a break, for instance. So we need to make sure that the deficit, you're taking 2000 calories on Saturday and Sunday on the days that you're not working out. So this is your 2000 calorie deficit days. So from a complete week standpoint, your deficit right now is 1000, because it's 2000 for 2 days, 500 calorie per day deficit. So you have 1000 calorie deficit per week. Now let's say your goal is to lose weight. We need to make sure throughout the week, on a weekly basis, you have a deficit and not a surplus or a maintenance. You have a deficit. Right now we are on 1000 deficit. Let's say you're working out really hard on Wednesdays. This is a particular workout that you're trying to get most gains out of. Get the surplus on Wednesday. So you're eating 2800 on Wednesdays. All the other days is 2500. Alright, now when you look at the equation, you have a deficit of 1000 calories and you have a surplus of 300 calories. You're still having a deficit of 700 at the end of the week. You will still end up losing weight. Now 700 might not seem a lot, obviously, so you can tweak these numbers based on your goals. If your goal is to gain muscle mass, then we need to increase these calories. So let's say we make it 3000, and we need to make sure it's a surplus, right? So it has to be, at the end of the week, it has to be a positive number over here. It cannot be a negative number. It's got to be positive. So we need to make sure that we do it for at least 3 days, the surplus activity for at least 3 days. So let's say you're lifting Monday, Wednesday and Friday. You need to make sure you're eating 3000, 3000, 3000. That's where your most gains are. This is your maintenance days. Saturday, Sunday, the day you're taking a break, is again your deficit day. Now you have a calorie surplus of 500, 500, 500. You have a calorie surplus of 1500 and a deficit of 1000. You still have a surplus of 500. So you still gain weight. 500 again is not a lot of calories. You can again tweak this plan, make it 3100, 3200, or go down over here. This stays as it is, I recommend that, but you can play around with the deficit and surplus and try to balance the equation. Up until this point, we are pretty clear what we need to do out of our. Now, we call it calorie cycling, zigzag diet, or carb cycling. There's a reason for calling it carb cycling. The biggest factor is how you decide where those calorie deficit or where those calorie surplus comes from. Obviously, you cannot eat 5 pastries in a day and make it 2000 calories. That's not the right way to do it. But let's say we are discussing a person who weighs 200 pounds. This person's daily requirement goal for protein is 200 grams. I've explained this in another video. And if you do the math, the fat is about 90 grams, which means 800 calories from protein, 800 from fat. Means total is 1600 calories from protein and fat. Now, the remaining calories must come from carbohydrates. On a deficit day, you're taking 1600 calories worth of protein and fat and 400 worth of carbs. On a maintenance day, you're taking 2500 minus 1600, 900 calories worth of carbs. And on surplus days, you're taking 3000 minus 1600, that's about 1400 calories worth of carbs. Now, how much is that in grams? 400 divided by calories per gram, which is 4. This is 100 grams. 900 divided by 4 is 225 grams. And 1400 divided by 4, 350 grams. The real deal is how do you decide to fill these numbers up? These are your rest days. This is your maintenance days. And these are your surplus. These are your surplus days, or days when you're trying to make maximum gains out of your workouts. So this is how you divide your week based on your goals. And I will talk about in detail on how to decide what carbohydrates you need to take in another video. In the meantime, this is how your surplus, maintenance and deficit days are decided. You can always tweak this plan. Like I said, if your goal is to have a deficit, you need to make sure you have a deficit throughout the week. If your goal is to have a surplus, you make sure you have a surplus throughout the week. If your goal is to maintain body weight, you have two choices. One is to stay on this strict plan of 2500 throughout the week, or you can break it even. So if you have a 1000 calorie deficit over here, you can have a 1000 calorie surplus here, and you can still maintain throughout the week. The beauty about carb cycling is number one, it gives you a lot of choices on the surplus days where you can have a lot of foods that you've been missing out. And if you have social events, you can obviously go there and try to eat more carbohydrates, and you're not worried too much about calories. Of course, this calories have to be from a clean source. I cannot emphasize that enough. But the fact remains that you'd still, to meet something like 3000 calories, you won't be overeating. You'll still be within your daily range. The second thing about carb cycling is that, just like muscle confusion, this is confusion for your metabolism. And it's a good thing. Whenever your metabolism is challenged or confused, it reacts and you turn into a fat burning machine. The thing about this is, as soon as your body is getting used to 3000 calories, you suddenly drop it to 2500. The body is still running at 3000 calories. A 500 calorie deficit is good enough for it to start burning fat. As soon as the metabolism starts slowing down, you confuse it again by bumping your calories up. Your metabolism has to catch up with the calories, and then you again drop it back down. So this is an advanced technique. As you can see, the surplus and the difference between the calories, the difference between each day is not a lot. We are not trying to go 1500, 1500 below or above. We are trying to stay within 500. So 500 is at the most 1 or 2 servings of carbs and one fruit here and there. It's not a lot. But the beauty about this thing is you continuously challenge your metabolism. Metabolism has no choice but to burn fat at a very, very fast pace. So I hope this video helps you, and I'm definitely going to make another video explaining how this 100 grams, 225 grams and 350 grams can be planned. We need, like I said, we need to make sure this is from a clean source, and I will tell you exactly how the carbs are broken down, what carbs you need to take, what is your priority and how you can distribute it throughout the day. Thank you again for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to shoot me a message or make a comment below. I'll be happy to get back to you ASAP. Thank you again. Take care. God bless.